Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's news. There's a decent amount that I want to talk about, but first, I do want to talk about Russia-Ukraine, and particularly with Activision Blizzard and Epic halting the sales within the country. So, let's start off with that first, shall we? So, to begin, as you can see here, Activision Blizzard and Epic paused game sales within Russia for obvious reasons. So, the Epic Games newsroom says Epic is stopping commerce with Russia in our games in response to its invasion of Ukraine. We're not blocking access for the same reason other communication tools remain online. The free world should keep all lines of dialogue open. And so, yeah, this is after one day of Activision's announcement, and yeah, this is pretty big. Basically, now even more people are taking a stand against Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Initially, it started out with sanctions from the US and multiple other countries, and then it moved on to basically cutting off Russia from the entire banking system. SWIFT is what it's called. So once they blocked them out, then, a lot of Russian citizens were hurting from that. And then PayPal also got knocked out of the pool, and let's just say that Russian artists and people that require PayPal mainly as their main form of getting currency, yeah, let's just say that kind of went down the shitter. And so it's not looking good for Russia. Obviously, the fact that even though Russia has made some progress within invading Ukraine, it doesn't look like they aren't, getting through so easily. There's a ton of casualties, there's a ton of, tanks and stuff that are just not, being resupplied and refueled. And it's not looking that great for Russia. And now, with even more pressure from, Activision Blizzard, Epic, PayPal, the banking system as a whole, it's not looking good. Now, will Russia stop? I'm not entirely sure. And I don't know if, Activision Blizzard and Epic pulling out will help with this. I mean, because, not to say that, restricting what you can buy within a country, wouldn't hurt your prospects, but, PayPal shutting down the SWIFT banking system, the infrastructure, being taken off from Russia's banking systems, those have true impact on people's livelihoods. But video games, if you have, if they have no access to games, that's one thing. But as far as I can tell, they still have access to their games. So I don't think this is too impactful, and it kind of feels more like brownie points. But I do at least like the fact they're taking a stand. But again, I just hope that Russia will stop, or at least Putin will stop, I just don't want this to go on any longer, honestly. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below, because I'm pretty mixed about this. So, there's one other thing I do want to talk about, and this is not about gaming or, related to Russia, Ukraine about gaming like the first story was, but a follow-up. Even now, TikTok is saying, in light of Russia's new fake news law, we have no choice but to suspend live streaming and new content to our video servers while we review the safety implications of this law. Our in-app messaging service will not be affected. And this is getting really big now, because I think this is the very first social media that's kind of said, oh, we're going to just pull a bunch of features from the country, and now it's looking even worse for Russia, and I'm not sure exactly what the implication of this will be. I just, again, I just hope that Russia will stop this. Putin will stop this, because he's hurting his people, and he's hurting Ukraine, and it's just what the hell are you doing, my dude? Stop doing awful things, please, stop. But so yeah, I just wanted to follow up to the first story with this update. So, next thing I want to talk about is Sifu. The game's been released for PS5, PS4, and the Epic Games Store. And yeah, it finally hit 1 million players, and I think this is great. Indie developers getting a lot of attention, that's great to me. So yeah, basically, if you haven't already played the game, go play it. I haven't picked it up because I don't really have the time to do it, so yeah. But I think you should play the game. It looks really cool, interesting, and I think you should play it. Next up, I want to talk about some free games this month. PlayStation Plus is getting some for March, obviously because it's a new month. And for reference, it is Ghost Runner for the PS5. Speaking of which, Ghost Runner is a great game, and new DLC Project Hell got released, so you should play it. Ghost of Tsushima, Legends, PS4, and PS5. Really good multiplayer co-op game. I think it's pretty good. Ark Survival Evolved for PS4. I've never played Ark, but I've been told it's kind of good, but it's unpolished and it's still not quite finished, and they're making a new Ark game or something. And then Team Sonic Racing. It's racing with Sonic characters, and I think this one is the one with 3 players per party or per group, and then you can play cooperatively together or something like that. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool games for the PS4 and PS5 this week. Or this month, excuse me. Next up, coming up to Game Pass, Microsoft's Flight Simulator for the cloud. Hey, if you like flight simulators and your PC can't handle it, which most people's PCs can't handle it, Flight Simulator is going to be on the cloud. So there you go. Far Changing Tides for cloud, console, PC. Not sure about that one. Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition. No idea about that one. But Guardians of the Galaxy, that game, really well received. And people thought, oh, it's just another Marvel game. It's just going to be another, Avengers game. But surprisingly, its narrative is pretty good. The combat is mostly pretty good. And yeah, it was a really sleeper hit, kind of. And yeah, so you should go play it. I haven't played it, but I at least looked at some of the things that happen in the game. It's really cool, I think. And I really do hope that Square Enix makes another one of these. Or if they don't make a sequel to this, they make, like a spiritual successor almost for like a different Marvel franchise, or something else entirely. Young Souls coming to COD and console PC. Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns. This is, I think, the third game in the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy, or is it duology? Either way, that's not the first game. And then Lawn Mowing Simulator. For those that want a lawn mowing. If this is for people that want to, basically go lawn mowing, but don't want to do it for real because that shit's hard work. So we have a simulator instead. And finally, for free stuff this week, or at least, for this week for Epic Games, Black Widow Recharge, Centipede Recharge, and Epic Slayer Kit for Dauntless are in the Epic Games Store right now. Grab them while you can. I know the recharged games are, at the very least, arcade games that were, recharged, they were remade. And Dauntless, if you like Dauntless, it's basically just a Monster Hunter game, but for free, then yeah, go play that. And then on top of that, we have City Skylines, and that's coming next week. Really good, make city sim game, and so if you want to play it, go ahead. I think it's really interesting, so give it a try. Next up on the list, I want to talk about Elden Ring nears 1 million concurrent players on Steam, placing 6th of all time. And even free-to-play game Lost Ark, which came out to much great success, has a lower peak player count today. And that's just insane to me, because Elden Ring, you have to pay $60 or more if you got, collector's edition and stuff, and it's doing better than Lost Ark, a game that's literally free? Now, the argument can be made that since Lost Ark has come out earlier within the global region, people that do like it will play and stick with it, and other people won't. But, Elden Ring's still kind of new, people are still playing it, and so that's why player numbers haven't dropped. And people are still trying to complete it. The game takes hundreds of hours to beat, or like at least 100 hours to fully get through a majority of the content. That's what I've been told so far. So yeah, this is kind of insane. And not to say that Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro were ever like niche games. They kind of were, but like Elden Ring's the only game that has, reached 1 million concurrent players from FromSoft's lineup of games, and this is just insane to me. And I hope that FromSoft continues to see good success. I just feel like certain things they do need to fix within Elden Ring, but those are just some personal gripes, and it's just my personal opinion. But this is wonderful to see that single player games can still make a ton of motherfucking money, and that single player games are not dead, as some people have said within the industry. But so yeah. Basically, I think this is great news. But, who knows. So yeah, that's the end of this week's news. It wasn't particularly big because, people are just playing Elden Ring, but I did want to talk about the whole Russia-Ukraine system with Activision Blizzard and Epic pulling their games, or the ability to purchase games from their stores. I wanted to follow up with that TikTok story, and, a few free games. There wasn't really that much that came up this week, but hey, news still happens, even if it is relatively slow, and if it's, pretty major like Russia and Ukraine. But so yeah, that'll be the end of this week's news. Hopefully you all like the video, so please like it, and hopefully you like my content, so please subscribe, and follow my Twitter that I use, and my Twitch that I haven't touched in a while, but, maybe soon, who knows? So yeah, I'll see y'all next week.